It was a very successful event.
Right.
The children were well fed. I sent you the report.
I did. I was very
Um,
impressed with the
it,
report
it-
as well.
it's
Yeah.
um, it's in its fourth year now. No, the fifth year to 2025. So we're hoping that the next one is going to be much bigger. What we actually planned, Dr. Bill.
Yeah.
We were going to do it in the east, right?
Yeah.
We were going to get a community with 1,000 children. But the people I was organizing it with now said, you can't do one community in that area. It has to be, there are five communities together, and there will be more than 5,000 children. We couldn't afford that. So what we did instead was do the tiny bit in Lagos, and
Yeah.
then we also put funds aside to donate foodstuffs to widows in that area. So 200 widows. We still haven't been able to do it. I don't know if you've been listening to the news recently. There was mass murder in the area where we were meant to do this. Only last week here, where over 16 people were killed in a church.
Yeah.
So we still haven't been able to take care of that community, unfortunately. But hopefully, with security being sorted, we'll get back there. So, the new Nigerian, you know what we are about. We try to get the best brains in diaspora, see if they can collaborate with the best brains in Nigeria to deliver a project. The aim was to bridge the gap between diaspora and Nigeria. Obviously, the Feed the Children campaign came as an afterthought, and we've been on it for 5 years. I know that you have feelings for the poor. You have feelings for our children. Can you explain why do you have these feelings? What motivates you to want to help the poor?
Yes, I think I'll consider myself a privileged person right from my childhood. I was born in a general hospital, Abeokuta, where my father was a member of the medical staff at General Hospital Abeokuta. So we had more than what we needed. And as growing up, I realized many children didn't have the basic things of life. And then, come 1967, Biafra, I saw firsthand. I was in Biafra for some time before crossing over to Nigeria. I saw what children suffered. And in my older life, as a pediatrician, I was a senior registrar in the malnutrition unit at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, where I saw hundreds of patients with malnutrition. Now, in the 30s and 40s, when malnutrition was first, where Kashoko was first described by British pediatrician in Ghana, in the Ga language. In fact, Kashoko means the disease the child has when a newborn is born very quickly. It was because they didn't understand the composition of diet necessary for the children, the proportion of proteins, carbohydrates, and the other. But in my time, it was lack of money. It was poverty itself. They knew what to give. They knew they needed to give their children fish, meat, and co. But there was no money to buy that. So they had to do with little they can have: corn, gari, and the rest. And the poverty has gotten worse exponentially over the last 20 years, particularly the last 8 years. It's been diabolical. And there's actually no reason for that. We are in a country where we produce a lot of food. There's massive land for agriculture. The main problem is bad governance. Bad governance at all levels, from the presidential level to the governors, to the local government chairman, executives, and other people there. So bad governance. And also this attitude of waiting for the government to provide everything for you. You can't have it. In many civilized, in many high income, I use the word high income countries, there's a certain percentage that the government of the day would do for the people, but they're encouraged to be risk takers, to be entrepreneurs, to self-employ themselves, and that's where skills acquisition and basic structure of the educational setup becomes very, very important. And this is also where networking becomes second to none. If we look at the school curriculum in my time, we were the golden children of Nigeria. We were blessed. Going to Federal Government College, Warri, made so much difference to me. First, to get in there, you had to be exceptionally talented. You had to be smart. There were only 3 federal government colleges in my time, in 1967 when I got in. So 1 in a region. Strange enough, each one was cited in the hometown of a minister or a very important person. The one in Okposi was cited by the Minister for Education, Chief Ajanwachuku, the father of my house captain in Schoolhouse 1971, Ogbonaya Ajanwachuku. The one in Warri was cited in very close to was cited in what do you call it, and the Shekiri enclave, because of the Omimi Ejo, the Minister for Finance, and the one in Sokoto was cited because of the Sadana of Sokoto. That's how they did it there. But when I was in for one, we were 120.
Dr. Biu,
yeah.
I'm going to let you continue that.
Okay, yeah.
Please hold that thought.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to the audience. For those who don't know Dr. Biu, Dr. Biu at the moment is a consultant pediatrician with the Wilshire Community Children's Service. Dr. Biu, USOSA, can be regarded as an ancestor. He, along with his peers, were the very first sets to go into a unity school.
Sorry, second set. I was in second set, 67.
Second set, I beg your pardon. To go into a unity school, and he went to a unity school in what is now Delta State. I think at that time it was still the Midwest region, if I'm correct, or...
Sorry, initially it was called Inter-Regional Government College Warri.
There you go.
Then changed to National Government College and then Federal Government College.
A bit of education, you see. I'm talking to the master here. He is not Delta, but he literally lived some parts of his life in the Midwest, because surprisingly, just reading his CV, I get to understand that he went to the University of Benin, which is also the school I went to. Obviously, he had long left. I think he was working in UBTH at that time when I got into school in 1986. Dr. Tare is a consultant neurodevelopmental pediatrician, and he specializes in ASD diagnostic assessment and the assessment and day-to-day management of attention deficit hyperactive disorder, what is known as ADHD. It's a recent ADHD is a recent discovery, isn't it? Maybe in the last 10, 15 years, if I'm correct.
Last 60 years.
Last 60 years.
Yeah.
Okay. As I stated earlier, he went to the University of Benin Medical School. This was between 1973 and 1979. He went to Federal Government College Warri. When he left UniBen, we call it UniBen, the University of Benin, he came out with distinctions in child health, and he won the Glasgow Prize for the best student in child health from the University of Benin in 1979. I'm going to let him go back to his thoughts. I'm sure he held it. He's going to go back to what he was explaining to us, and I think you stopped at 1971.
No, that's 1967.
1967, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. So when I went for the interview to get to the Inter-Regional Government College, I was what I applied for then. We had Mr. Davis, Philip Davis. No, sorry, Mr. Ashley William Edgar Winlaw, AWE Winlaw, OBE TD TPK MA. He was a former British intelligence officer and an educationist who actually was the principal of Ashimota College, Ghana, one of the best in the world then, and was also the officer who set up the cadet training in Pakistan, in the big school in Pakistan. So you can imagine a man with a combination of military discipline and a top educationist. He started Federal Government College Warri. He interviewed us and admitted 120 people. It's important to know that 2 children of a prominent Olu at that time who came for the interview with me were not admitted. Can't happen today. 2 children of the Olu of Warri were not admitted.
Wow.
Based on performance. So that school, we had majority of the admissions based on merit, so about 60% based on merit. Then we had about 20% for locality area, people from the area, and we had quota. I've always been against the quota system. I remember asking Mr. Davis, 1970, at the principal's questions day, why do we need quota? He laughed. He said, you know what? We need quota system for this country to survive as an entity. We need to allow the less advanced, educationally advanced children from less educationally advanced states, mainly the North, to catch up with us. I know they won't catch up with us, but the gap become narrower and narrower. The only way the gap can become narrower is for the northern government and those states with poor educational attainment to prioritize their budget, improving quality of their school and quality of the state. Let me tell you something. The first school certificate exam that took place in 1970, the best result was from a northerner, Abdullahi Umaru.
Right.
A1 in 6 subjects. A northerner had the best result, first school certificate exam. It just shows one thing. Get any child from any part of the country, give him the appropriate opportunity. He will do as well as anybody.
Absolutely.
He will do as well as, and that's why the onus is on the northern governors and local government chairman to get their act together, put things in place so that this question of giving a quota of 4, a mark of 4 for a child from Sokoto, a boy from Sokoto, 4, and a mark of 320, somebody from Delta, should be scrapped as soon as possible. It's been there for almost 60 years.
Right.
I went to FGC 58 years ago. 58 years ago. So it's been there for almost 60 years. It should be scrapped. And then along came Mr. Davis, who was a major in King's College. He set up the cadet school in King's College. I was principal of King's College 1955 to 1963, and then director of secondary education 1963. He started FGC Sokoto and came to Warri about April, May 1968. He ran the school like a British public school. I can tell you, in 1967, we played baseball in FGC Warri.
Wow.
Baseball. The American Peace Corps guys came with baseball. I did not cut grass the first 2 years. We had lawnmowers to do all. We had the laundrymen to wash our clothes. We had the teachers who were the top teachers marking the WASC exam as our teachers. They spoon-fed us. They gave us the best. Our library was sponsored by UNESCO.
Wow. Okay.
Was sponsored by UNESCO. Everything you needed. Our sick bay was manned by doctors for the General Hospital through Mr. Davis's public relation. I do not see why my FGC Warri has produced thousands and thousands of doctors. Schoolhouse alone has produced uncountable number of doctors, and there must be doctors working in Warri. Why can't those doctors volunteer their services or volunteer services of other junior doctors working in their team to come to the sick base and give these facilities pro bono, just to give back to FGC Warri?
So,
carry on.
Yeah, so that's we are hoping that we achieve that. Part of the aims of this podcast is to get this kind of value out and see if we can spread it across to all USOSAs, doctors, engineers, see what they can do, like you said, pro bono, to improve the lot of their schools, as well as the association itself, USOSA. How did you become aware of USOSA? Why did you pick an interest in USOSA? I remember you were a major speaker at the UK plenary, first of its kind. What was the motivation for that? And what's your interest in USOSA? Where do you see USOSA is? Where do you think it should be compared to where it's coming from?
Good. Thank you very much. I have always had passion for FGC Warri. Even though I was a very smart youngster, I had my father, who was my maths teacher, as young as 4 years of age. I remember doing fractions in primary school, and my father would say, "What were you taught today?" I say, "Fractions." He would give me 50 work example, 50. I'd be 3 weeks ahead of the class.
Wow.
3 weeks ahead. So there was no way anybody could catch up with me then. That got me into FGC Warri. And FGC Warri made me. FGC Warri gave me all the opportunities. I was taught to obey anybody in constituted position, authority. Anybody, even your mates. I was taught to obey orders. The school was run like a military regime. The prefects were like brigade commanders, with Mr. Davis, principal, like a general officer commanding. And there was a system for seeking redress. If you're punished unjustly, you take your matter to Mr. Davis. If the prefect is wrong, he is punished. A house captain was demoted after I left there. So there was a very good system for redress. Obey before complain. That was the motto. Obey before complain. Just do it. Just do it. And then you can seek redress. We're taught to have integrity. This distinguished us from students from many other schools in Warri, who were creme de la creme. Integrity, meritocracy, at top level in academics, top level in games. Everybody knew us. This was an FGC person. The leadership, wherever we found ourselves, we tended to be the leaders. And that's one thing I would encourage USOSANs to think seriously about. Networking. Networking is so important. I remember at the USOSAN conference, we're talking about how to improve the academic, how to improve the structure in the school. What makes a good school? The leadership, which is the most important thing, the infrastructure, the teachers, the extracurricular activities, the academics, all those ones, and safeguarding policy in the school. We had all those. When I was there, we were all boarders. We didn't have day students. So it was easy to manage. It was easy for Mr. Davis, the principal, to do his surprise inspections and everything. Unfortunately, I was one of those victims. I had 4 detentions in 6 years. Each one was controversial. One, I was ill. I was too ill to go to school. So I was too ill. And my dormitory mates were 7 in the dormitory. They left me. They went to school. I was ill. Mr. David came around doing his surprise inspection and saw me. He took me to the sick bay, got a doctor to see me, and still gave me a detention. I debated that detention until Mr. Davis's death, even when he came to Bristol. We had a video. Sadly, the video is lost now. It's a video about his stay in FGC Warri. Wonderful video. He talked about 2 students that were the best students you could think. I'll mention their name. George Erebor, my best friend for 38 years. Sadly, he died in the Bellevue plane crash, 2005. Okay. And Dr. Okechukwu John Mbondo. I called him my man of the century. He was my classmate. Captain school house. So because of my motive, because of what I benefited from FGC Warri, I want to have carried that same commitment to USOSA. And together we'll make this country better. We should be able to, we should be able, apart from looking at our individual schools, we should be able to concentrate on national development, helping ourselves individually, capacity building. For instance, I expect USOSA to have a database of every member of USOSA in the UK. Schools they went to, when they graduated, what skills do they have, their telephone numbers, their emails, and we should be able to tap into the database. For instance, there was once I needed a tax consultant. If we had such things, I'll just tap into it, and we should do our services pro bono for being USOSA or at very seriously reduced costs. And also, we should be able to join politics. Can you imagine a group of people who went to FGC Warri, a group of people who went to FGC Bakori, a group of people who went to FGC Doani, having the same mentality, being in politics, all this tribal division, totally detribalized, all the tribal division gradually will get a mass effect and Nigeria will change. we need to get into politics. We need to get into leadership. We need to be the people that matter. I envisage in the next 10 years, USOSANs will take over from people in my generation, many of whom are not doing things the way that things should be done. And hopefully we have a new Nigeria, and the country will be far better for it.
So TNN means the new Nigerian.
Yeah.
Persona, the person. You get a new Nigerian, you create a new Nigeria. There's no one better that personifies a new Nigerian as yourself, as USOSA, as a body, as Chioma, the publicity secretary of USOSA, who has just joined us. She's my co-host most of the time. I'll let her speak with us in a moment. Now, from what you've said, the value I've been able to gather is 1, diversification, 2, unity, 3, leverage, especially in the area of politics, to create a better Nigeria, to create a more diverse Nigeria, to create opportunities for generations coming yet unborn who cannot fathom the quality of education that you got as a youngster in Nigeria. So, what next? How do we support USOSA? As a body, we know what the President General's ambitions are to improve the association. We've spoken with a few other USOSANs who were founders of the association itself. We know that there's not major commitment from some sets of schools because they don't have structures. How do we as individuals contribute to supporting USOSA in setting up these structures to get this database that you described? We know that the President General is very keen on technology and is in partnership with various technology companies. One, for example, is Alumni Hub, in trying to create this database. Going back to the question, how can we support? How can we leverage?
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the older federal government colleges. My set is gradually getting out of the scene now. I'm probably one of the 2 youngest in my set. So you can imagine people who are between 40 and 60. You have a lot of billionaires amongst them. A lot of billionaires. We should not ask ourselves, what is every other person doing? Ask yourself, what can you do for USOSA? For those who have a lot of finances, once they have that commitment, they can fund, they can make individual donations. The billionaires can make individual donations, and it can go very far. But if every person contributes, say, like 50,000 naira a year, that's nothing for somebody who benefited from the federal government college. 50,000 naira a year is nothing. You can imagine all of us contributing 50,000 naira a year each. FGC Warri has had about 50 to 52 sets. 50 to 52 sets so far. Even the younger baby federal government colleges, like I tend to call them, I was already in medical school when you were formed.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, actually, they even have more earning power than the what do you call it? The older set.
Dr. Biu, some people
Yeah,
will say to you,
yeah.
why should I contribute 50,000 naira? How do I know where that money is going? What
No.
accountability is there in that money?
Okay. Okay. I'll answer that question because I had a similar experience. I made some donation 2010. I wanted my beloved schoolhouse to be painted. I made the donation. The schoolhouse wasn't painted, and I don't know where the money is now. Rather than doing just rather than getting the money somewhere, we can have an endowment fund. People contribute to the endowment fund. All the monies contributed should be run by people who know how to set up business plans, by project managers, by accountants, recognized in the industry with 100% accountability, everything to be transparent, every penny spent, every penny donated. At any stage, we should be able to log into and find out who has donated, what has been done by it in a very British, transparent way.
Fantastic. You see, part of the technological drive, like I mentioned earlier, Alumni Hub, not only is going to create that database, they also have said they're going to set up this fund you're talking about. They will have a dedicated account to where these monies are paid so that there's transparency, so that there's accountability. Bringing in project managers, like you said, if they set a target, once that target is met, then they'll be able to disburse.
Yeah.
I suppose Chioma is keen to get into this conversation.
Yes.
Let me let Chioma in. Chioma, hi, how are you? I hope you've sorted things out and you're with us now.
Good evening, Dr. B. I was looking forward to this session. I don't know, my day just went the other way, but it's fine that I'm here and have an opportunity to do what we love, which is telling success stories. And you are definitely one of the ones that we were looking forward to talking to. I let me apologize for the speech that I had today, but I'm here.
Thank you.
I had so many questions, but right now what's that? But it's fine. I'm just curious. You went to a federal government college when there were just 3 schools, 3 federal colleges.
Yes.
That's yeah. So I'm wondering how today where we have 111 as at the time where you had just 3. Do you think the government was spreading that, or we've had an argument on this platform saying it should have led to be thin? That way you have more people going to those few schools. So what are your...
Sorry, can I hear you? You were breaking up. What's the question again?
Do you think few federal government
Chioma is having issues with she's having issues with her signal. I think what she's trying to ask is
what's the question?
The difference between more unity schools or less unity schools. What would you say is better? Should it have remained exclusive, or the way it is now where it's all inclusive?
It's always more, it's always better. More is always better. The thing is, if we, as more federal government colleges have been established, as long as the aims and objectives of the federal government colleges are spread around, On the long run, more Nigerians will be detribalized, more Nigerians will go to school where there's a lot of discipline, high academic attainment, and everything there. Because there are about 117 federal government colleges now, the business plan has to change. We were spoon-fed. Actually, FGC Warri made me to be a lazy student. No, for real, I was spoon-fed. I didn't need to study to be sure I was going to do well. But when I got to the university, I knew the background I had. Yes, was good. So the thing is, we have to look at the funding. One idea I have is the governor taking over the governance of some of these federal government colleges. When you take over the governance, then you'll be able to ensure who you appoint as head teacher or principal. You're able to control the teachers. You'll be able to be in a position to control the extracurricular activity. You, being an ex-FGC person, you tailor those and adapt them to what is necessary now. In my time, every smart guy wanted to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, and go. Now, past that stage, now IT, AI, business, accounting, those are the things that run this world. Smart agriculture, high-level vocational training. A man who is trained as a fashion designer, a man who is trained as a chef from school can get to the top, can be a multimillionaire. A man who is trained as a carpenter, woodwork, carpentry, can turn out to be one of the biggest furniture designers and maker there. So once you add this with IT, with the digital revolution, man, the sky is the limit. Nothing can stop you. And that's where we should be focusing now, not the traditional, I have malaria, I have typhoid in Nigeria, or what do you call it now? Problems with gender in the UK that I spent a lot of my time dealing with and co there. So we need to do practical things. We have so much land for agriculture. We start training them from JS1 about mechanized farming, about smart agriculture. They start and they grow up with it. Boy, oh boy, they will not need the government to employ them. They'll be employable when they meet. Maybe what they will need when they finish is some start-up capital from the local government area, the state government or federal government or agencies. And also, when we talk about funding of the federal government colleges, we should look at donor agencies, the oil companies, and so many others. We should look at them. For instance, from Bayelsa State, there's the Nigerian Content Board or something there. They deal with overseas people coming here, getting their passports and other things there. They can get some of those companies to commit to one smart school in each state, or one smart school in each senatorial area in each state. One smart school per senatorial, so 3 smart school per per state, and that will go a long way. I don't want to see children going to school with pencil, going to school with chalk and blackboard and other, when everywhere here the blackboard is smart And that's what you should be looking for. Every school should have computers. Many people can donate computers. Many organizations, many individuals can donate computers, and all the wherewithal, training, and everything there. I think it's time for a revolution.
So, what you've said, hopefully the oil companies adopt Unity schools. We can get the leadership of USOSA to look into that, set up a committee to look into that sort of funding for Unity schools. We had a fellow federal government college Warri personnel on as our second guest. He was one of the founding members of USOSA, Dauda Ilea. Dauda specifically talked about what you initially said, which was the management of Unity schools. He mentioned the lady Ezekwesili, I think
the former Minister for Education.
Exactly. He mentioned her setting up what you guys described. Unfortunately, as soon as she left there, the next person to take over scrapped it entirely. So it's back to the drawing board. How do we get incoming administrations to follow up on what their predecessors have done in order to improve management of education? How can USOSA key in as well into the management of education? I know that the current leadership is in talks with the current government, especially in the areas of education.
I think one would be an MOU, a binding MOU between USOSA and the Minister of Education.
Right.
So that once we've agreed, or once a program starts, a change of government doesn't affect the program. This becomes easier if many of the key people in those militaries are USOSANs. For instance, the head of service is a USOSAN. She went to Federal Government College. In fact, her family is USOSAN. The husband went to Federal Government College. Is it Ilorin or so? So if we have such people in there, she as the head of service, she has power. If this is entrenched in their how do I put it, in their projected plan for the next couple of years, it becomes part and parcel, and nobody can just come and change it. So we need to get into government. We need to get into top level of the civil service. And when we are there, we'll be look at the KCOB. Oh, it's like a cult. King's College, USOSA should be a cult, like the KCOB. Helping ourselves individually, our children, our family, so many things there. Making the decision. I remember my friend who is a KCOB, or even my uncle, late Commodore Kentebe, was the chairman of Island Club. He went to KC. People come for things. I think there's a phrase they use. Once you use that phrase, you know it's a KCOB. The way is paved already.
The door's open.
It's open. All, in fact, the magic key is
that phrase. We have to learn that phrase, and we have to adopt it as well.
Actually, I was told this phrase yesterday. I just forgot it.
Let's keep it a secret for them.
And we shouldn't even look at just FGC now. We should look at USOSA. So we USOSANs should all come together as one body, as if we attended the same school, because we have the same background. That's my message here.
Excellent. Now, I'm just going to quickly go to your appointments. locum consultant pediatrician, Milton Keynes. You not only did that, you were consultant at the South Mid Hospital in Bristol. You were a senior lecturer, University of Bristol Medical School. You were registrar pediatrics Homerton Hospital in London. Apart from that, I know that you were invited by the present cabinet minister of health in Ghana to set up a holistic pediatric neurodisability service in Ghana. How has that gone? Have you had any success in that? And how do we move that as well to Nigeria? Are you utilizing your contacts within the Nigerian community here and in Nigeria to try and set up similar improvements in the health sector?
Yes, I'll tell you. In 2012, I was appointed the Royal College of Pediatrics and Childhood Regional Advisor for West Africa. So I was a spokesman for the Royal College of Pediatrics in the UK as far as pediatric services and exams were concerned in the West African sub-region. And I was also a guest examiner at the West African College of Physicians to see if the standard compared with the Royal College exam standard. So during my tenure of office, I was there between 2012 and 2017, 5 years. I was able to prove to the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child and the GMC that the West African College exams was at par with the Royal College of Physicians and Royal College of Pediatrics and Childhood exam. Based on this, because I am a fellow of the West African College of Physicians, I'm a member of the Royal College of Physicians, fellow Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, fellow National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. So I use myself as an example. I've done all the exams.
Right.
And I was able to prove to the GMC. And what was the outcome? I got GMC exemption for doctors who had the Part 1 of the West African College of Physicians exams in pediatrics from all the English-speaking countries, Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, to come here for 1 year work contracts with GMC exemption. They did not have to do the PLAB. They were exempted from PLAB. That's the important thing about the MOU. We were able to get the MOU signed by myself and the president of the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, and for the West African College, signed by another USOSA, Professor Augustine Omogberale, who was the past president of the Pediatric Association of Nigeria. He was my classmate, FGC Warri, 67 to 73.
Wow.
Wonderful MOU. And as a result of my contact, as a result of the combined meeting we had in Ghana, I was able to meet the cabinet. That was in 2013. We had a combined AGSM between the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health and the West African College of Physicians. I was the college regional advisor for West Africa. I met the young minister, actually was under 40 years of age, and invited me in 2020 to help do an appraisal of the services. They had only one consultant neurodisability pediatrician in the whole of the Greater Accra area. I had the opportunity of reviewing services in Lekma Hospital and Kolebu Hospital, and put suggestion in place. the program has increased. I also came to Nigeria. Then there was no clear-cut program for managing neurodisability conditions in Nigeria 2020. Along the years, between 2020 and January this year, I've had to give webinars on neurodevelopmental conditions assessment. I've had to go there about 3 to 4 times a year, training consultants, registrars in neurodisability, consultant neurologists, and registrars in pediatric neurodisability, going there with tools, using patients and everything. And things have done, have improved a lot.
Yes.
And now I can say our residents are very comfortable with assessing neurodisability conditions.
Wow.
I've done this all pro bono,
Dr.
charging
Biu.
nothing, giving resource materials, and that.
Dr. Biu, you are to be emulated. I hope I can achieve, even if it's 1/4 of your achievements. I'm really grateful for your time. I know we're fast running out of time. However, just to let you know, there must be a part 2 when Chioma is fully ready, when we don't have any breaks. Unfortunately, she seems to have network errors. We'll blame it on network errors. But once she fixes her network errors, we will get USOSA to invite you again to a podcast where Chioma can hopefully ask the questions that she's been wanting to ask. You know, she's talked so much about you being on the program. Unfortunately, network issues have stopped her. Chioma, do you have something to hopefully, let's see?
She can send some questions to you.
Absolutely.
Only thing, I don't know if you can hear me. Am I clear now?
Yes, you're clear now.
So the one thing that I have so many questions, but I think we'll have the part 2, like you rightly said. So the one thing I would want to ask is, I don't know if you've spoken about it, mentorship, because I'm in awe of your achievements. What are the things that Alumni Hub is supposed to put together, I think professionally as well? Is there a room where you can speak to people who are in your profession? Because maybe I was thinking, should I go back to school and start there? But it's too late. I can't go to the field. So is there a way of you speaking to the people in your profession? I just think that if they hear you, even the younger people who are
We've lost her again. She's talking about mentorship.
Yes. With the Pediatric Association of Nigeria and the Child Neurology Society of Nigeria, I'm a regular contributor. I give lectures, I give webinars. I go to give hands-on training, even to professors there, because we have facilities here which they don't have, and also pediatric service here is free. You don't pay anything. You can imagine a child that needs an MRI. How long will it take for them to raise the money? Many only. Whereas here, I want an MRI done. It's arranged. I want a CT scan. 30 minutes, it's arranged. Everything is free. That's the big difference. And what we've tried, see, capacity building is so important. I remember when I came here, 1989, I was a senior registrar in Nigeria. I was lucky to come straight to a registrar job, pediatric gastroenterologist, taking samples of intestines, doing endoscopy, putting the camera in there and taking samples of intestines. And in Nigeria, we had an endoscope in my unit in Benin. Because of politics, it wasn't installed. I had to come here and learn like a JJC. But I had my 2 ears and eyes wide open. learning. I was lucky to have Professor John Walker Smith, who believe in the Commonwealth, an Australian. He every day comes to tell me, learn these biases well, learn them well, learn them quickly so that you'll be a key person there. And that's exactly what I did. You see, I was fortunate that the defense budget brought me here. I was fortunate. Not many people are that fortunate. So what we've been doing now is to get people from here to go back to the institutions in Nigeria and teach them. Rather than bringing one person will cost so much money. We'll get trained people from here, just like myself and other USOSA and Mr. Dapo Fafemi, consultant breast and general and breast surgeon. We both went to Ghana together. He was clinical director of surgery at North Middlesex Hospital, Mr. Fafemi. We went there. So he was focusing on improving breast cancer for the Ghana people. And he goes to Nigeria to do that regularly. And when we go, we teach people, we improve the skills of people on the ground there.
Yeah.
And all what I've done, like I said, all what I've done in Nigeria, no penny changes hands, it's free. I pay for my tickets. And also, I was involved in providing free medical service for my forgotten Ijaw people in the creeks where all the oil money comes from. I was making 10 trips at times a year, 10 trips a year. You can just compute the cost. On the Atlantic Ocean, speedboat on the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
Even my children wondered, why do you have to risk your life? As if I don't do it, people wouldn't do it. They are my people.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Abeokuta, but that's why I said I was privileged. I enjoyed Chief Obafemi Awólọ́wọ́'s free quality education. My contemporaries in the creeks didn't have that opportunity, and that's why I want to give back to them. I want to give back to Nigeria, and I think every day without Nigeria, I won't be here. Nigeria made me. I was one person who was in golden age of Nigeria.
You are giving back. Time has run out. Chioma just said through Alumni Hub, have you downloaded the app? I think it's in the Play Stores. Through Alumni Hub, she believes that we can have pools of persons in your profession for mentorship. I'll tell you something very interesting.
Yeah.
TNN have done a podcast with a critical care doctor. We've done a podcast with a stem cell doctor. We are hoping to do a podcast with the KC alumni who recently discovered using oxygen for the relief of sickle cell. Hopefully we'll bring him here. They are all USOSANs. We intend to fulfill what we were created for, which is to get you all together and push for the development of Nigeria at some point. Again, time is of the essence. Time has come to an end. I must thank you for being with us, giving us your time. We know you're a very busy person. Audience, as usual, the links will flow below. Please support us. This platform, we aim, hopefully, to be the voice of USOSA, the voice of the people. We hope that at some point we are larger than CNN. We hope we are larger than Arise. With Dr. Biu's contributions, I'm sure USOSA will reach out to you to finalize how you can contribute to support the podcast. You can also do that by getting some of your key players who are USOSANs to listen to your podcast and also come and speak to our people as well. I'm grateful for your time. I'll let you go now. Thank you, Dr. Biu. It's been a privilege having you. Have a good evening. My regards to you and the family. Don't forget, I will send your present once you send me a message.
I will. Okay, take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.